The cold wind whistled through the narrow streets of Millbrook, a small industrial town where hope seemed as rare as sunshine. Emily Thompson stood by the kitchen window, watching her father's slumped shoulders as he sat at the worn wooden table. Robert's hands, once strong and confident, now trembled slightly as he held a cup of lukewarm tea. The factory closure had hit their family hard. For 25 years, Robert had worked at the steel mill, believing his dedication would protect his family's future. But now those dreams lay shattered like broken glass. Emily, just 16, understood more about their struggle than most children her age. Her mother, Margaret, moved between the kitchen and living room, her nursing uniform pressed, but her eyes tired. 3 night shifts this week, and still they were barely making ends meet. Emily watched her mother's reflection in the window, a woman fighting an invisible battle of survival. School was Emily's only escape. Her tattered backpack held more than just books. It carried her dreams of a different life. She was a top student, not because it came easily, but because every homework assignment, every late-night study session was a step away from their current hardship. The small apartment felt like a pressure cooker of silent desperation, walls thin enough to hear neighbors' arguments, paint peeling in corners, and a radiator that worked only when it wanted to. But Emily saw beauty where others saw decay. She saw potential in every crack, hope in every challenge. Her classmates talked about weekend shopping, new phones, and social media. Emily's world was different. Her weekends meant helping her mother with extra cleaning jobs, helping her father look for work, and studying whenever she could find a quiet moment. One evening, as she sat at her small desk near the window, Emily discovered a scholarship application. Her fingers traced the words, heart racing with possibility. University seemed like a distant dream, but she knew education was her ticket to changing their family's trajectory. The local library became her second home. While other teenagers spent hours on social media, Emily devoured books about engineering, environmental science, and success stories of people who had overcome similar challenges. She took notes in a worn-out notebook, each page a testament to her determination. Her father noticed her dedication. Some nights, he would sit quietly beside her, watching her study. No words were needed. His eyes told a story of pride, hope, and unspoken support. Margaret would bring her extra tea, a silent acknowledgement of her daughter's extraordinary spirit. Millbrook was changing, factories closing, businesses shutting down, hope diminishing with each passing month. But Emily refused to be defined by these limitations. She saw opportunity where others saw only hardship. Her school grades were her weapon. Each A was a punch against poverty, each successful project a step towards a better future. Her teachers recognized her potential, often staying after class to provide extra guidance and encouragement. The community began to take notice. A local shopkeeper would slip her extra sandwiches, understanding the silent struggle. The librarian would reserve special books for her, recognizing her hunger for knowledge. Emily's world was small, but her dreams were enormous. She understood that success wasn't about where you started, but how hard you were willing to work. Her family might be struggling, but they were rich in love, determination, and hope. As winter approached, bringing with it more financial challenges, Emily's resolve strengthened. She created a detailed plan: scholarships, part-time work, additional study hours. Her notebook became a roadmap of potential success. Her younger brother watched her with admiration. At 12, he was learning the most important lesson, that circumstances do not define you, your response to them does. The Thompson family might have been facing tough times, but they were not defeated. Emily was their beacon of hope, a living promise that hard work, education, and unwavering determination could transform lives. In the quiet of their small apartment, with the sound of the old radiator and distant city noises, Emily continued to study. Her reflection in the window showed more than just a teenage girl. It showed a future leader, a dreamer, a fighter. Millbrook might be struggling, but Emily Thompson was just beginning her journey. The end. The letter arrived on a grey Tuesday morning, its white envelope looking almost too pristine against their worn kitchen table. Emily's hands trembled as she read the words that would change everything. Their landlord was selling the apartment, and they had 2 months to move out. Robert's face turned pale. As an unemployed factory worker, finding a new home seemed impossible. Margaret's nursing salary barely covered their existing expenses. The weight of potential homelessness pressed down on the family like a heavy, suffocating blanket. Emily refused to let despair consume them. While her parents discussed their limited options in hushed, worried tones, she was already planning. Her school bag became a mobile command center. Scholarship applications, job listings, and potential housing options spread across her notebooks. The local grocery store became her first battleground. With determination burning in her eyes, Emily approached the manager. "I need a part-time job," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Mr. Peterson, a kind-faced man in his 50s, saw something special in her resolve. Starting. With weekend shifts, Emily juggled school and work. Her hands, once soft and smooth, became calloused from stacking shelves and operating the cash register. Classmates spent their weekends socializing, but Emily's world revolved around every extra pound she could earn. Her brother Jack became her unexpected ally. At 12, he started helping neighbors with small jobs. Walking dogs, washing cars, collecting recyclables. Every coin went into their family's emergency fund. The Thompson family was fighting back, united against their challenges. The town of Millbrook seemed to be crumbling around them. More factories closed, more families struggled, but Emily saw opportunity where others saw only despair. She researched online courses, free training programs, anything that could give her family an edge. Her school performance never wavered. Teachers noticed her extraordinary resilience. Mr. Williams, her mathematics teacher, began providing extra support. He saw in Emily a potential that transcended her current circumstances, a bright mind capable of breaking cycles of poverty. Nights became a strategic planning session. Emily would spread city maps on their kitchen table, marking potential affordable neighborhoods. She calculated expenses with mathematical precision, creating budgets that would make financial experts proud. The local community center became another resource. Free workshops, job training sessions, supportive networks. Emily absorbed every opportunity. She understood that knowledge was the most powerful weapon against economic uncertainty. Margaret's nursing shifts increased. Some nights she would return home exhausted, her feet aching, her spirit tested. But seeing Emily's determination would reignite her own hope. A mother's love, combined with a daughter's ambition, became their most potent survival strategy. Unexpected. Support came from surprising places. Mrs. Henderson, an elderly neighbor, offered their family temporary storage for furniture. The local church group collected some basic household items. Small acts of kindness became their lifeline. Emily's scholarship applications multiplied. Each rejection felt like a punch, but she never stopped trying. She rewrote essays, improved her applications, refused to be discouraged. Her resilience was becoming legendary in their small community. The potential move threatened to disrupt everything: her education, her part-time job, her carefully constructed support network. But Emily saw challenges as opportunities in disguise. She was learning that life's most significant lessons often come disguised as problems. Her father, watching her strategic planning, began to see hope where he had only seen darkness. Robert started attending local job training workshops, inspired by his daughter's unwavering spirit. The family was transforming, turning potential disaster into an opportunity for growth. Jack began helping Emily with her research, becoming her unofficial assistant. His young mind, full of creativity, often provided unexpected solutions. Together, they were rewriting their family's narrative, one small victory at a time. As winter approached, bringing with it more financial uncertainty, the Thompson family stood united. They were not just surviving, they were preparing to thrive. Emily's determination had transformed their potential tragedy into a story of hope, resilience, and unbreakable family bonds. The apartment might be temporary, their financial situation uncertain, but their spirit remained unbroken. They were warriors, fighting against circumstances, armed with love, determination, and an unshakable belief in their potential. The end. The scholarship envelope arrived on a crisp autumn morning, its thin paper holding more weight than its physical, size suggested. Emily's hands shook as she opened it, her breath catching in her throat. Partial funding, not a complete solution, but a lifeline nonetheless. Margaret's tears told a story words couldn't express. A small scholarship meant more than money. It meant validation, hope, a glimpse of a future beyond their current struggles. Robert, usually reserved, hugged his daughter with a strength that spoke volumes about his pride. The local community began to notice Emily's relentless determination. Mr. Peterson from the grocery store started spreading her story. "That girl," he would tell customers, "she's going to change this town's future." Word traveled quickly in Millbrook, a town desperate for inspiration. Local business owners started taking notice. The hardware store owner, Mr. Thompson, no relation, approached Emily with an unexpected offer. "We've heard about your scholarship," he said, sliding an envelope across the counter. Inside was a check, a small business contribution towards her education fund. Emily's school principal, Mr. Williams, became her unexpected mentor. He saw in her a reflection of his own challenging youth. Late afternoons were now spent in his office discussing university applications, scholarship strategies, and potential career paths. The town's library became her second home. Librarian Mrs. Roberts would reserve special books, whispering encouragement with each new recommendation. "Knowledge is your passport," she would say, her eyes twinkling with hope. Jack continued his small entrepreneurial efforts. Dog walking, car washing, recycling collection, he was determined to contribute. His young spirit understood the family's collective dream. Every pound he earned was another step towards their shared goal. Margaret's nursing colleagues heard about Emily's scholarship. They started a small support network, collecting used textbooks, sharing professional contacts, offering advice. The medical community became an unexpected extended family. Robert's job search took on new energy. Inspired by his daughter's resilience, he attended every local job training workshop. His age had been a barrier, but his determination was becoming his strongest asset. The factory closure was no longer a full stop, but a comma in his life story. The partial scholarship was just the beginning. Emily discovered online platforms offering additional grants, work-study programs, and financial support. Her laptop became a tool of transformation, each application a potential breakthrough. Local newspapers caught wind of her story. A small feature highlighted her journey. A young woman turning family challenges into opportunities. The article brought unexpected support. Phone calls, emails, small donations started arriving. Community meetings began discussing how to support local students like Emily. Her story became a catalyst for change, proving that individual determination could inspire collective action. Millbrook was slowly awakening to its own potential. Local trade schools offered her free skill development workshops, computer classes, communication skills, professional development, opportunities she would have never imagined before. Each workshop was another brick in her foundation of success. The town's economic development office took notice. They saw in Emily a potential success story, a living example of how education could transform individual lives and community prospects. Discussions began about creating more support systems for local students. Emily's strategy was simple but powerful. Every opportunity was a potential pathway. She didn't just wait for chances, she created them. Her notebook became a complex map of possibilities, each page a testament to her strategic thinking. Her family's living situation, once a source of stress, became a temporary challenge to overcome. They found a smaller, more affordable apartment. Each move was a strategic step, not a setback. Their unity became their greatest strength. The scholarship was more than financial support. It was validation. Sarah told Emily that her hard work, her family's sacrifices, her community's belief, all of it mattered. She was not just surviving, she was preparing to thrive. As winter approached, bringing its usual economic challenges, the Thompson family stood transformed. They were no longer just surviving. They were planning, hoping, believing. Emily's partial scholarship was not an endpoint, but a beginning. Millbrook was changing. One student, one family, one dream at a time. The end, the university acceptance. Letter arrived like a thunderbolt of hope. Emily stared at the official document, her hands trembling, her heart racing. Years of struggle, countless late nights, and unwavering determination had led to this moment. Millbrook seemed to hold its breath. The small industrial town, long forgotten by progress, now watched with collective pride. Emily Thompson wasn't just going to university, she was becoming a symbol of possibility for every struggling family. Local businesses gathered to celebrate. Mr. Peterson from the grocery store organized a small community fundraiser. The hardware store, the bakery, even the tiny post office contributed. Each donation was more than money. It was a statement of belief in potential. Her father, Robert, looked different. The defeated posture that had defined him since losing his factory job was replaced by a quiet, powerful pride. Margaret's nursing colleagues brought additional support, used textbooks, professional contacts, words of encouragement. The scholarship grew. Community funds, local business contributions, and additional grants transformed Emily's educational journey. What started as a partial scholarship became a comprehensive support system. Her dream was no longer just a possibility, it was becoming reality. Jack watched his sister with admiration. At 13, he was learning that limitations were often just illusions. Her journey was teaching him that education was the most powerful weapon against economic uncertainty. University preparation became a family project. Every evening they would discuss Emily's upcoming challenges. Robert helped her pack, Margaret checked her documentation, Jack organized her study materials. Their small apartment buzzed with excitement and hope. Mr. Williams, her school principal, became her final mentor before university. Late afternoon sessions were filled with practical advice, life lessons, and professional guidance. "You're not just going to university," he would tell her, "you're opening doors for your entire community." The local newspaper ran a feature story. "Local Girl Breaks Barriers," the headline read. Emily's journey became inspiration for other struggling students. Parents started telling their children about the girl who transformed family challenges into opportunities. Financial challenges hadn't disappeared, but they no longer seemed insurmountable. Emily had developed a strategic approach to every obstacle. Scholarships, part-time work, careful budgeting. She had become a master of financial navigation. Her university choice wasn't random. Environmental engineering combined her passion for science with her community's needs. She saw beyond personal success. She wanted to create solutions that could transform struggling industrial towns like Millbrook. Community support continued to surprise her. Local businesses offered her internship opportunities. The town's economic development office became a consistent supporter. Emily was no longer just a student, she was becoming a community asset. Margaret's nursing colleagues shared professional networks. Connections opened unexpected doors. Emily realized that success wasn't just about individual effort, but about building supportive communities. Robert's job search took a positive turn. Inspired by his daughter's determination, he found work in local infrastructure projects. The family's economic situation was slowly but steadily improving. University preparation revealed Emily's true strengths, her ability to strategize, her resilience, her commitment. These were skills developed through years of family struggle. What others saw as challenges, she saw as training grounds. The Thompson family transformed. They were no longer defined by economic limitations. Their story became a beacon of hope for Millbrook, proof that education, determination, and community support could rewrite individual and collective narratives. Jack started viewing education differently. Inspired by Emily, he became more focused on his studies. Her journey was teaching him that dreams weren't just for other people, they were possible for anyone willing to work hard. As moving day approached, the entire town seemed to hold its breath. Emily wasn't just leaving for university, she was carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire community. Her journey was about to become something much larger than herself. Millbrook had always been known for its industrial past. Now it would be remembered as the place that produced Emily Thompson, a daughter who transformed family struggle into a story of hope, resilience, and extraordinary potential. The turning point wasn't just about university acceptance. It was about proving that where you start doesn't determine where you can go. The end 10 years had passed since Emily first opened that life-changing scholarship letter. Now she stood before her hometown, no longer the struggling teenager, but a renowned environmental engineer with a mission to transform Millbrook. The abandoned factory that once symbolized economic despair now buzzed with new life. Emily's green technology project had converted the old industrial site into a sustainable energy center, creating over 150 local jobs. What seemed impossible a decade ago was now a living reality. Her family watched from the front row during the project's inauguration. Robert, once defeated by job loss, now worked as a site supervisor. Margaret's colleagues from the nursing community had helped develop health programs for the new workers. Jack, now studying engineering, looked up to his sister with pure admiration. The transformation wasn't just about infrastructure. Emily had created a scholarship program for local students, ensuring that no child in Millbrook would feel limited by their economic background. Each scholarship told a story of hope, of possibility. Local businesses that once struggled now thrived. The hardware store, the grocery, the small bakery, all benefited from the economic revival. Mr. Peterson, who first hired Emily as a part-time worker, now sat on her project's advisory board. Mr. Williams, her old school principal, introduced her at the inauguration. Emily Thompson, he said, didn't just change her own life, she changed an entire community's future. The audience erupted in applause, tears mixing with pride. The environmental project was more than just an economic solution. It represented a new approach to industrial recovery. Universities across the country began studying Millbrook as a model of sustainable urban transformation. Emily's technology combined green energy solutions with job creation. Solar panels now covered the old factory roofs. Wind turbines dotted the landscape. What was once an industrial wasteland became a beacon of sustainable development. Her international recognition brought unexpected benefits. Global companies began looking at Millbrook as a potential investment destination. The small town that had been forgotten was now making headlines in economic journals. Jack followed closely in her footsteps. Inspired by Emily's journey, he was now studying environmental engineering. The family's transformation was becoming a generational story of hope and possibility. Margaret and Robert watched their daughter with quiet pride. Their sacrifices, their struggles, their unwavering support had produced something extraordinary. Emily represented every parent's dream, a child who not only succeeded, but lifted her entire community. The scholarship program became Emily's most personal project. Each selected student received more than financial support. They got mentorship, professional guidance, and a belief that their background didn't define their potential. Local schools changed their approach. Career counselors now used Emily's story as an inspiration. Students began seeing education not as a distant dream, but as a practical pathway to transformation. Media coverage brought national attention. From struggle to success, headlines proclaimed. Emily became a symbol of resilience, proving that individual determination could create systemic change. Her technology wasn't just about green energy, it was about giving communities hope. Each solar panel, each wind turbine represented more than electricity, they represented possibility. The economic impact was significant. Unemployment rates dropped. Local businesses experienced unprecedented growth. Young professionals who had left Millbrook began returning, seeing new opportunities. Emily never forgot her roots. Her office, deliberately placed in the town's community center, remained accessible. She continued mentoring, supporting, believing in the potential of her hometown. The Thompson family's journey became local legend. From struggling to survive to transforming an entire community's economic landscape, their story inspired generations. Mr. Peterson, now retired, would often tell younger workers, "Success isn't about where you start. It's about how hard you're willing to work, how much you're willing to believe." As sunset painted Millbrook's transformed landscape, Emily looked out over the town. The abandoned factories, the struggling streets, They were now a testament to human potential. One person, one family, had shown that change was possible. Her journey wasn't just a personal success story. It was a blueprint for community transformation. The end.